This is how to read Jin Ping Mei Chapter 32, in the embroidery version. Sister Li Gui seeks her mother and accepts her daughter, but Pan Jinlian is jealous and frightened her son. 1. Wu Yunyang's goddaughter. The last time the Ximen family came to celebrate was a group of military attacks, which were military and police officials at the state level. This time the Ximen family was celebrating naturally the civil servants, which were the magistrates, county magistrates, chief administrators, and historians at the county level. Here the largest county magistrate is only a 7th rank official, which is many levels behind Ximen King's deputy Qianhu. It is not very interesting, so the text is sparse. This time, the hot theme regarding official promotion is gangsters and prostitutes. As soon as Ximen King was promoted to official position, Sister Li Gui came to recognize her as her goddaughter and worshipped Wu Yunyang as her godmother. I made a pair of shoes, bought a box of tarts, 2 ducks, a pair of hoops, and 2 bottles of wine. I bowed 4 times to Yunyang with a smile, and then said bluntly, now that my father is an official, he can't go in there as often as I do. I would rather just be my goddaughter, so that I can have relatives and go around the house more easily. The reason is very simple. When Ximen King became an official, it became inconvenient to visit prostitutes. Ming Dynasty law prohibited officials from soliciting prostitutes. She could no longer blatantly serve wine in brothels, and it was possible that she would no longer be supported by the huge sum of 20 taels per month. Losing such a good customer is heartbreaking for any prostitute, so the best way to keep in touch is to get married. But the question is it okay to get married if you want to? Does Wu Yunyang mind? The text said that Wu Yunyang was full of joy, and then invited Sister Li Gui to sit on the kang together, and then chatted homely with the prostitutes who came in the evening, and seemed to be in harmony. What on earth was Wu Yunyang thinking? What has happened before is that Wu Yunyang despises remarried wives, who remarry before their filial piety is over. She is always dissatisfied with the concubines who marry into the Ximen family. How could Wu Yunyang look down on a prostitute like Sister Li Gui? Woolen cloth. I think it's this. First, Wu Yunyang's status as the head wife determined that she had no essential conflict with the prostitutes, because the ancients did not prohibit themselves from visiting prostitutes. Jealous wives could only be jealous of concubines. In an era when a wife must be pure and pure, pass on the family line, and fulfill her duties as a woman, almost all the charming, sexy, charming, and talented women should be in prostitutes. Prostitutes make up for everything that wives cannot give men, so Wu Yunyang can accept prostitutes. Secondly, the reality of the Ximen family's competition for favor also determines that she should treat prostitutes well. Although Wu Yunyang has also been jealous of Sister Li Gui, her current enemies, the entire Garden Beauty gang, are all hard to deal with. What's more, Li Ping'er also gave birth to the eldest son of the Ximen family. If she accepts Sister Li Gui, how much will it cost? He is also a helper who can win over Li Zhaoer. Although Li Zhaoer has less and less say, who knows if she will have the time to exert her strength in the end. If Li Zhaoer hadn't stopped Zhang Erguan, Pan Jinlian would can really escape Wu Song's revenge. No matter what, it never hurts to have a few more friends, even if they are prostitute friends. However, Wu Yunyang herself also understood that she and the prostitutes were not the same people at all. Sister Li Gui was on the kang, and the other prostitutes were under the kang, talking and laughing, all using jargon that Wu Yunyang could not understand at all. What can we do? By pressing Wu Yunyang's button, we are on her territory. Taking a look at the private life of a prostitute, which is rarely seen in the book. First, we talked about the 2 old eunuchs from last time. Sister Li Gui said, Eunuch Liu is okay, but Eunuch Su is so stubborn that he has lost his soul in pinching people. This means that although eunuchs are not humane, they still like prostitutes and the white and tender skin of young prostitutes, but their method of playing is pinch. Then Zhang Xiang talked about how Sun Zizui and Shu Xinian helped Zhang Erguan prostitute her sister Zhang Aiyu. She said that the southern man who groomed Zhang Aiyu had not left yet, so it was not easy to receive Zhang Erguan, and said, "How are you, Zhang Erguan? You are rich." He originally kept another prostitute, Deng Mauer, and then said, "I wish I was so numb that I knelt down in the courtyard, begging Sister Yu to see her." Zheng Aiyu will later become Simon King's new love, and Zhang Erguang will replace Simon King in his post of punishment after his death. Finally, Zheng Xiang teased Sister Li Gui. "Yesterday I met Zhou Zhou outside the door. I told you more that I went to your house with Naiyu the day before yesterday, and you were not there." This sentence itself is difficult to understand. Sister Li Gui's reaction was to wink and then explain it away. It was probably a matter of direct jealousy between prostitutes and clients. These seemingly casual gossips between prostitutes, on the surface a group of harmonious laughter. But behind the scenes are all kinds of jealousy and intrigues from money and men. All their knowledge, emotions, wisdom, love and hate are used in this. This is the real love. The world of prostitutes is not the delicate, beautiful and pleasing romantic and talented women in other works. They will not reinvent themselves for talented scholars, nor will they create the myth of Mandarin ducks by turning lies into reality. Although they have left behind the heavy burdens of parents, matchmakers, and well-matched families to carry on the family line. They look more lively and romantic, but the world is actually more cruel, more cold-blooded, less caring and less humane than other places in the world. Perhaps, like many other stories, we can abandon those fairy tales full of beautiful illusions of talented men and beautiful women, and return to the reality of the Golden Lotus. I discovered that this is the way the world is. 2. Simon King's goddaughter. Sister Li Gui was sitting on the kang of her godmother Wu Yunyang. Feeling extremely happy, I was shaking my spirits all the way, and once I called out, "Sister Yu Xiao, I'm tired of you. If you have a cup of tea, bring it to me." Another time I called out, "Sister Xiaoyu, if you have some water, I'll wash your hands." That Xiaoyu actually took a tin basin and scooped out water and washed his hands with him. Everyone in Wu Yaner stared at him and didn't dare to say anything. Next, I want to provoke Wu Yaner. "Sistrian, you three get instruments and sing a song for your mother to listen to." I sang it first. Wu Yaner dared to be angry, but dared not speak out, so she had no choice but to submit and obey. The interesting thing here is that although Sister Li Gui is showing off, why does she have to target Wu Yaner? We know that when Sister Li Gui first debuted, Wu Yaner was already taken care of by the wealthy Hua Zixu. This can at least explain two things. First, Wu Yaner is older than Sister Li Gui, and second, her appearance and reputation are definitely not bad. Therefore, as a rising star, Sister Li Gui has always been competing with Wu Yaner since she started her career when Simon King left the Li family to have a private meeting with Li Ping'er. The Li family was worried that he was looking for Wu Yaner. Obviously, Sister Li Gui, who regarded herself as Wu Yunyang's goddaughter in the Simon family, would probably be even more arrogant and domineering when she returned to the brothel or other places. Remember that song, "Suppress all the hurdles and gain the upper hand"? Can Wu Yaner be convinced by this? After Hua Zixu's death, Wu Yaner lost her long-term meal ticket and could only earn a little money by traveling and singing in a wealthy family. It was not like she was competing with Sister Li Gui for men. So why should she be bullied by her and be sneered down by her? So Yaner asked Count Ying for help, and Count Ying gave him a divine suggestion. Without hesitation, "You can buy some gifts tomorrow, but just accept Liu Niang as your goddaughter. You and he are still on the same path as your dead father, so you can each go his own way." Originally, prostitutes were considered god sisters. Since she accepted Wu Yunyang as her godmother, you can accept Li Ping'er as your godmother. Who else can the most favored Liu Niang be afraid of after giving birth to a son? What's more, this Liu Niang was Hua Zixu's wife back then, and you were also Hua Zixu's lover back then. It's really hard for Count Ying to come up with such a tit-for-tat plan. It's even harder for Simon King, the former love rival or godbrother's old sweetheart. And now the concubine's goddaughter, it's really hard to call her. But there is a problem here, which can be easily missed if you are not careful. That is why did Earl Ying help Wu Yaner? Earl Ying didn't have much friendship with Wu Yaner. He helped Wu Dian borrow 100 taels and charged 10 taels as an intermediary fee. The first half of his sentence goes like this: Heis, here referring to Wu Yunyang's Kang and can't come out. It doesn't matter. I must stop that little thief and whore from coming out. Then he insisted on pestering Simon King to invite Sister Li Gui to come out to toast and sing. The guests knew that Sister Li Gui was Simon King's old sweetheart, so they had to be polite in front of the boss. No need to work. But Earl Ying refused. That first sentence, "It is Li Chen Yuan Fan Tu's job to sing and serve wine, so don't get used to him." This means that Sister Li Gui is originally a prostitute. Whether she is her goddaughter or her old sweetheart, a prostitute is a prostitute. The second sentence, "He doesn't want to be a bitch anymore." When he sees that the adults have become officials, he is willing to accept her as his goddaughter. This means that Sister Li Gui accepts her as her goddaughter for the sake of being an official, and is not sincere. The third sentence, "It's better for me to be an official. Since ancient times, I have not been afraid of officials, only afraid of management. This time I even have a goddaughter. Sprinkle some water on it tomorrow and twist it out." As for the goddaughter, add some water. If you have some sexual relations, you will be able to produce a baby, a nephew. Although the two words official are meant to flatter Simon King, Earl Ying's goal is indeed to target Sister Li Gui. Next, Earl Ying continued to push further. "You little slut. You said you rely on the power of a man, and I'm afraid of you? Look at how sweet he calls Dad." He added, "Don't teach him anymore, pass the wine, which will help him. Get the punishment referring to the musical instrument, and teach him to sing a set and listen to me." It's enough for him to hide behind him for a while. In fact, everyone knows why Sister Li Gui wants to admit her marriage. But the Count's response is to expose Sister Li Gui's face of admitting her marriage, and he will be ruthless to the end and beat her back to her original shape. With a stick. "You are a prostitute, and you should sing for us." As mentioned before, brothels must recruit helpers to ensure business. If Sister Li Gui becomes a real goddaughter and can break away from the helpers and do whatever she wants, then if Simon King takes in more goddaughters, Earl Ying, won't he have no food to eat? Although the text does not mention whether Sister Li Gui actually sang or not. Judging from Wu Yin'er's successful adoption of Li Ping'er as her godmother and the resentment of the Li family brothel in the following text, Earl Ying's strategy was still very successful, as long as there were still people between the brothels. With competition, there is room for recruiting helpers. However, although Earl Ying kept bullying Sister Li Gui, Simon King, as his godfather, still loved and protected Sister Li Gui. First, he tried his best not to let her come out, and then he beat and scolded Earl Ying several times to vent his anger on her. This brother had to pester her, and this goddaughter had to be protected. It was really difficult for this godfather. Of course, this is also Simon King's happiest moment. Isn't it? The wedding night, the birth of a child, the time when the gold medal is named, promotion. To blessings are in the palm of the hand. There is constant flattery in the officialdom, constant fun in the market. Even the little prostitute Li Gui who dared to play tricks with him had to surrender. Isn't this the legendary winner in life for you and me in the market? Isn't this happiness? Although saying Godfather is not a big deal, Godfather is not an ordinary title. Even today, how many people are still using the name of Godfather to do their casual things? 3. Brother Guan was frightened for the first time. The other half of the double-line structure this time is about Pan Jinlian being jealous and frightened. Although the length is not long, this is the theme of the whole book, so the embroidered portrait version puts this matter in the title. In Chapter 30, Brother Guan was born, and Pan Jinlian was sad. In Chapter 31, Li Ping'er favored him, and Pan Jinlian was jealous. In Chapter 32, it was natural that Pan Jinlian attacked Brother Guan. On the surface, when Brother Guan cried and Pan Jinlian carried Brother Guan to find Li Ping'er, there was no special action. It was just lifting it high, and it didn't seem like she was intentionally doing evil. However, judging from the reactions of other relevant people, Raya refused, but was helpless and unable to stop it. Wu Yunyang objected and informed Li Ping'er immediately. Li Ping'er was panicked and quickly took the child back, and even it's about complaining about Raya. Judging from the results, Brother Guan was indeed frightened, and he caught a cold and had a fever, so Simon King knew about it and became angry. There are 4 people who know why Brother Guam was frightened. Of course, Pan Jinlian will not say that she did it. With Li Ping'er here, Ryer certainly won't dare to say that it was Pan Jinlian who did it. According to the lengthy struggle for favor that will follow later. For example, Li Ping'er always swallowed her anger every time she was bullied by Pan Jinlian. This naturally has its background reasons and personality factors, which we will analyze and study in detail later. Now the question here is, Yunyang knew that Jin Lian had brought him out to scare him, so she didn't say a word to Simon King. Why is this? Doesn't Wu Yunyang want to take the opportunity to stab the 9-tailed vixen? Combining the context, the most evil reason I can think of is, Chen Lin holds a makeup box. The purpose of this civet cat exchange for the prince is to defeat the opponent as quickly as possible. From the following text, we will know that Wu Yunyang was actually pregnant at this time. If Simon King were a commoner, that would be fine, but he is already a 5th grade official with a bright future. God knows how much inheritance he will have hereditary in the future. Although Wu Yunyang gave birth to a legitimate son, the official brother was the eldest son. The battles between a legitimate son and the eldest son in the past dynasties were bloody and tragic. Therefore, if Wu Yunyang deliberately did not tell Simon King, then I think this is still a deliberate connivance to Pan Jinlian. On the one hand, her timely dissuasion and warning allowed her to avoid responsibility. And on the other hand, she did not have to offend Pan Jinlian openly, and even encourage Pan Jinlian to behave more outrageously. Only in this way can both Pan Jinlian and Li Ping'er be harmed, and only in this way can Simon King not easily have the idea of turning right because of his eldest son. Perhaps this idea is a bit too villain-minded, but the text leaks information again and again. It is the territorial struggle of these women and their various inadvertent joined forces that will lead to the general brother. This innocent child went from being timid and frightened to fainting after being frightened by a cat, and finally died a violent death.
Alright, this part of the story ends here.
Want to know what happened next? Let's listen to the breakdown next time.